The Epstein victims have come together in a press conference and vowed to release the names themselves. Watch this video.
Transparency is justice. Release the files, end the secrecy, and stand with us in declaring that no one, no billionaires, no politicians, not world leaders, is above the law. And let me announce now, several of us Epstein survivors have been discussing creating our own list of names. We know the names. Many of us were abused by them. Now together as survivors, we will confidentially compile the names we all know were regularly in the Epstein world. And it will be done by survivors and for survivors. No one else is involved. Stay tuned for more details on that. Because history is watching, and so are the women who will come after us. Thank you.
These are very powerful individuals because it's hard to come together and put your face out in public after going through something like that. And for everybody who was calling it a hoax, i.e. Trump and his constituents, this is clearly very real. The victims are coming together saying it's very real. So why haven't we released the files? We know why we haven't, because rich and powerful people, as Trump has stated himself, are on these files. And it's sad that he would rather protect them than get justice when all of America, it doesn't matter if you're Republican or Democrat, is asking for these files. So the only reason you would hide this file is if you were on the file. Here's Trump calling it a Democrat hoax.
So this is a Democrat hoax that never ends. You know, it reminds me a little of the Kennedy situation. We gave him everything over and over again, more and more and more, and nobody's ever satisfied. From what I understand, I could check, but from what I understand, thousands of pages of documents have been given. But it's really a Democrat hoax because they're trying to get people to talk about something that's totally irrelevant to the success that we've had as a nation since I've been president.
Donald Trump, these survivors are not a hoax. They are very real people as you see them on this stage right now. If this was such a hoax, then why was Nancy Macy seen crying when she first met with these survivors? Now, you want to talk about thousands of documents getting released and how it's never enough. 97% of that was already public knowledge. It's never enough until we get the full story and we actually get justice for the victims that have gone through this. And for you to sit here and say it's irrelevant because you want people to talk about your wins shows you are not fit to be a leader and shows you do not care about the people of America, especially victims that go through something they should have never gone through. These are people that support the full release of the Epstein files. I mean, you have people in MAGA saying, I no longer support Trump because he showed who he really was by not releasing these Epstein files. And you really want to sit here. He actually made a post not too long ago and said that you're not a real fan if you're still going on about this Epstein scandal. One of the Epstein survivors picked up on Donald Trump calling this a hoax and responded herself. Let's see what she has to say.
Mr. President Donald J. Trump, I am a registered Republican, not that that matters because this is not political. However, I cordially invite you to the Capitol to meet me in person so you can understand this is not a hoax. We are real human beings. This is real trauma. To say that it's a hoax is just not, please humanize us. I would like Donald J. Trump and every person in America and around the world to humanize us.
Can we really expect the man that has 17 different women with sexual misconduct, sexual harassment, and sexual assault allegations against him to respect women? I mean, the same man who is heard saying behind closed doors he grabs women by their private parts, that's the person we think is going to respect women. The same person that just said it's a Democrat hoax because, well, not only is he in it, but this doesn't affect him. Not only does it not affect him, it doesn't affect his friends because his friends weren't in this either.
What happens around the world politically, I cannot speak for that. But I am here with all of these women, including our attorneys, and I would be more than happy to meet with him.
If it was such a hoax, then how come Donald Trump said time and time again how he was never friends with Epstein? He got rid of him. He was a bad guy. He hated him. Even though Epstein was calling Trump his best friend, we've seen them at multiple parties and multiple pictures with Ghislaine Maxwell. And then he upgraded Ghislaine Maxwell's security prison to give her better conditions and special treatment, as long as she said Trump wasn't in the files and I never seen him do anything wrong. Now here is Trump's own Marjorie Taylor Greene responding to Trump calling it a hoax. In this video, she calls him a coward. I was so surprised to hear this. Let's play the video.
Today he called it a hoax while these women were speaking out and they were saying, we're not a hoax, we're human beings. And I think we need to see something turn around there.
You know,
and I'll say this, Eric.
He can prove it's a hoax by releasing it. Let us decide if it's a hoax or not. I mean, I love everything they're doing. I'm MAGA through and through.
Well, I just want to finish up on one thing.
Donald Trump, you might be the only person in the world that believes this is a hoax because you want to cover it up. But this time it's not going to go your way. You brainwashed MAGA long enough to get them to believe everything you say. But this is a lie I don't think you're going to get away with. I do think the files are going to come out, and I do think you will face punishment for these crimes. Hopefully.
It's not a hoax because Jeffrey Epstein is a convicted pedophile. That takes away the whole hoax things. It's not a hoax. It's not a lie. And on that note, Eric, every Republican should be able to sign on to this. And that's the real hoax, that they're afraid to sign on to it because somebody who is a real coward from one of the Trump admin officials came out and called this a hostile act against the Trump administration. And I take very big offense to that because I put my life and my fortune on the line fighting to get that man elected. And whoever said that has their job because of people like me that fought all the horrible Republicans that stabbed him in the back.
How many times do we have to say to the MAGA party, you are only a part of MAGA as long as you go with their delusions, beliefs, and lies. And the second you have an independent thought and think for yourself, you get ostracized like Marjorie Taylor Greene did. They're saying she's not a real Republican. They're calling her a traitor to America. They're calling her a hostile act for wanting to get justice for victims. That is what they think of you if you do not agree with whatever rhetoric they want to run with, even if they're running with a bunch of lies to make Trump look good. And this is where it all falls apart.
After January 6th. And I was one of those that fought on the front lines and said, no, he is the leader of our party. He is the president, and we're going to make him president again. Well, that coward attacked me and attacked anybody else and called it a hostile act. The hostile act was Jeffrey Epstein raping 14-year-old girls. That was the hostile act, and it's not a hoax.
I also want to remind you that the FBI was redacting and taking Trump's names out of the files they were already reviewing. So when the files do come out, I do wonder how that's going to come up and if those names will be put back in, if that's even possible at this point. Now, if you don't know who Marjorie Taylor Greene is, she was seen as one of Trump's most loyal supporters. She supported him through every disgusting act he did, and that's still not forgivable. And the fact that even she turned on him for this actually speaks volumes because she's made millions of dollars under Trump. And we haven't seen anybody betray him yet for the millions of dollars they received. But it seems like this is all crumbling now. Now, here is the Epstein victim's lawyer who reviewed the documents and is telling everybody just how bad it is and why we need to release this.
Unfortunately, all of the documents and evidence that we have worked so hard to gather hide behind protective orders, confidentiality agreements, and bank secrecy laws. That is why this discharge petition is so important. While we have seen the documents, you haven't. And when you see the documents, you're going to be appalled.
I want to remind you that the only reason that is not signed off on yet is because all 212 Democrats signed off on it and only 4 Republicans did, which goes back to exactly what I said, that these Republicans are getting paid off by Trump. They don't want to give their position. And once Trump is gone, you're not going to get away with your crimes you're committing against humanity. You're not going to get away with all of your illegal actions, and you will pay the price for the crime you did. Don't do the crime and you won't do the time. If America can't unite under hating PDFs, I don't know what's going to bring us together. So I really hope we are collectively all in this, and it feels like we are. And I can't wait for the release of these files because we desperately need to see whose name is on this list. And don't be surprised if all of a sudden there's a World War III initiation from Trump, because right now that is probably the only thing big enough to distract us from this. Not me, but the masses, at least his fan base. Finally, here's what Marjorie Taylor Greene had to say in a post about Trump. For decades, the rich and powerful protected Jeffrey Epstein while innocent women and children lived in silence and shame. That shame does not belong to the victims. It belongs to the politicians, bureaucrats, and elite who turned a blind eye. The FBI, DOJ, CIA, and Epstein's estate hold the truth. It's time for the full transparency and accountability. No more cover-ups. The American people deserve answers. We owe the victims justice, healing, and the truth that they were denied for far too long. I don't even know how this is a controversial take. I don't know how this is something you can argue against. I don't even know how it's been put off for this long. Oh, yes, we do. Because very powerful people are being protected, as they have for the entirety of America. But it's time for them to get exposed for what they've been doing behind closed doors. And this is the first step in the right direction. I am proud of everybody who came forward. I'm proud of everybody who showed up. And I'm proud of everybody who did not stop speaking about Epstein. I have been speaking about Epstein in my videos for years, and nobody cared unless it was a viral moment. And I am so proud of everybody else who has been speaking about him, who is paying attention, who is telling their friends about this, because it is us. We have the power here that is going to get these files released. I want to be able to count on my American, not second guess on who they voted for or how they're going to treat me based on how I look. And I want victims of heinous crimes, when the evidence is obviously in our faces, to start receiving justice. Thank you for watching my video today. I hope to see you next time. Please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and have a good one.